you very much.
Hey everybody, it's Edie and welcome to Mixed Mediology Monday. Today's project is kind of different because it's actually a sewing project, but it's something that I think is really cool and going to be really useful for a lot of you who do art journaling or like to take a little bit of supplies with you when you go. Okay, whenever we went to Rome, the Rome airport is a complete clusterfuck, and I was having a meltdown as we were making our way to the fourth gate of the evening. And in making our way to our final destination gate, I discovered a Moleskine store inside the Rome airport. And that was like the light at the end of the tunnel. It was the only thing that made me happy the whole time we were in the Rome airport. So we went to the Moleskine store and I got this really awesome art journal. If you watch my Spring Break in Rome, I think is the title of the video, you can see the journal in detail. I open it up, I show you the pages, I talk about all that. Anyway, so I got the little art journal, and when you purchase something from the Moleskine store, they give you a Moleskine bag. And it's just one of those little reusable shopping bags. So it's that really, it's sturdy, but it's that really thin woven cotton. Like it would tear. When you tear it, it kind of looks like torn paper. I don't know if you've had one of these to tear or not, but I have a shit ton of these, so I've had several of them tear one way or another. So yeah, so it's the very thin but sturdily woven cotton reusable shopping bags. They're like $1 at the store. We call them green bags, even though they're all different colors. We still call them green bags because our very first ones were from our commissary and they were all green. So now everything is green, and they're green, you know, like for the environment, good for the environment. So everything is a green bag. Actually, kind of weird, just a little side note, we've had a green bag Christmas 3 different times, meaning we didn't bother wrapping our Christmas presents. We just tied everything up in green bags and stuck it under the tree. And we even have a little song that we sing with it. It's a green bag Christmas. Because we're military. We kind of make up our own days. We do stuff when we want to do them. So sometimes we'll just wake up and say, let's have Christmas today. And shit's still not wrapped. So we go through, we stuff it into the green bags, we tie it up, and we stick it under the Christmas tree. It doesn't waste any paper. It's really quickly wrapped and put away. And it's good for the environment. So yeah. Anyway, that was totally off topic. This bag is perfect because, I'll be back. Okay, I have my bag now. Let me tell you why I think this is the perfect bag. So I have tons of bags. I have tons of green bags. I have backpacks. I have purses of all sizes. I have, you know, just general bags for your shit. I have tons of those, but they're not great for books. They're not great for books because either they're too big and it gets lost in the bottom, or shit gets piled on top of it, or you know, your pages get bent or dented or whatever, or your bag is way too big and then all you've got in there is just this little book and you know, it's just way too big. This bag is the absolute perfect size for a journal and or your tablet, and let me show you why. So this bag is 9 by 11, and it is the perfect size for my journal. Now every year I keep, it's called the Year in the Life Journal. It's a class that I teach, and this year I actually combined my Year in the Life Journal with Susie Blue's Paint and Chronicle. I started incorporating her prompts into my Year in the Life Journal. So this is my journal. There's all kinds of stuff in here. I'm actually going to do a flip through of this book when I get to the 6-month mark. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing a flip through of this book. It's really getting thick now because I do a lot of journaling in here. I have a lot of stuff just stuck in here. So it's getting pretty thick, as art journals do. This bag is just a couple of inches wide. So it's perfect to slip my journal in there, and my journal doesn't fall over. It stays upright. It doesn't get lost in the bottom. It doesn't lay sideways. The shit doesn't fall out of it. It's perfect. Then here, not an excessive amount of room, but enough room that my tablet slides right in here. Then there's still enough room that I could throw in some pins, a couple of you know, markers, a sheet of stickers or something, glue stick, double-sided tape, whatever else I'm gonna need for the day when I'm out. I can just throw it right in here, and I don't have to worry about being too big and bulky, having too much excess room in the bag, or my stuff falling over. Like, it stays upright, it stays perfect, it's taken care of in this bag. So the issue that I had with this bag was it is that green bag stuff, that soft cottony stuff, and I'm afraid that over time, obviously, it's gonna get worn out, and I don't want it to get worn out because this bag is perfect. Like, it comes up just past the top of my journal. You can see there's, oh, I turned Siri on again. Oh, okay. So it's just a little bit past the top of the journal, and it's not too wide. There's room in here that my stuff's not crammed in here. I keep turning Siri on. But it's perfect, and I don't want it to fall apart. So what I decided to do was actually take this bag apart. I'm actually going to take it apart and use it as a pattern, and I'm going to make the bag in canvas. So this is just unwrapped canvas, and I'm going to use that bag as a pattern. I'm going to paint my bag and decorate it and make it personal, and then make a new bag, same size, same shape, and everything out of canvas. I may even try to add some sort of a closure, because the one thing I don't really like about that bag is that it doesn't close, which in theory is fine, because it's not like I'm going to be like dumping it over and my shit's going to fall out. But if I'm riding in the car, it could fall over, or if I'm sitting, you know, sitting somewhere, it could fall over and something could technically fall out of it. I haven't had that happen. Nothing has fallen out of this bag, and I've had it for 2 months now. And I use it fairly regularly. But I may try to add some sort of a closure here on the top, either Velcro or a single snap or something. But in order to do that, I need to make it just a tiny bit longer, just so that the snap or whatever won't be constantly pulled upon. So that is this week's project. The, what did I say the measurements were? 9 by 11 mini Moleskine bag made out of canvas. That's this week's project, and I will be sure to link the dimensions of all the measurements for the pieces that I cut in the pattern. I will write all of that in the description below. So there will be a handle measurement, there will be a front panel, a back panel, side panel, bottom, you know, all the pieces, the dimensions for those pieces will be there. And I'll talk about that at the end of this video. Since I haven't done it yet, I can't really explain it. But at the end of the video, I will talk about the pieces. Or maybe in the middle. Yeah, keep watching. It'll be in there somewhere. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this project because I love this bag. Love it. Love it so much that I'm going to rip it apart and use it as a pattern. Speaking of ripping stuff apart and using it as a pattern, I posted a video saying that I've decided to make my own clothes, and there was a lot of reasons behind all that. But behind me, you can probably see 2 big piles of clothes. So I have a pile of clothes over here. This is the stuff that I'm actually just going to rip apart and use as fabric and repurpose somehow. And then this pile over here is the pile that I'm going to rip apart and use as patterns, because it's clothes that I really like. It's tank tops and a couple of other shirts and things that I really like but don't actually fit me anymore. They used to fit me, and I've kind of outgrown them. So I'm going to use them as patterns but enlarge them. So really excited about that. And if you want to see those kinds of videos, then make sure you comment below and let me know that you would like to see some altered clothing videos as well. I think that's it. I think I have explained everything today. Yeah. So stick around. You'll watch the full making of this bag in canvas. If you have any questions, make sure you comment down below and I will get back to you. It usually takes me a few days or so to get back to comments on my YouTube channel, but I do always reply back. If you like what you see here, don't forget to hit that little subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. And then you can share this on Facebook and Twitter with all of your friends. That way they can hang out with us too. Don't forget, you can find me on Facebook and Pinterest. If you find me on those places and follow me, I will follow you back. And I got some other things coming down the pipe, down the drain in the future. So stick around because you don't want to miss any of that. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye! A few quick notes that I wanted to share with you before we get into the full making of this bag. I have just taken the entire bag apart, and there are some things that I'm going to do a little bit differently that I wanted to share with you that won't make a whole lot of sense whenever you're watching the video, so I wanted to talk about it now. If you remember in the talking bit in the first part of the video, I said that I might want to make this a little bit longer so that I could put some sort of a clasp, maybe some Velcro or a snap or something at the top. So when I measured my bag, I've taken it apart. And I have a front and a back, and then this is the middle of the bag, this is the center, the width of the bag, and then two little strips here, and this is what connected the bag together, so the front and the back connected to the center with these strips, and then I've got my two handles. So in order to make my bag a little bit longer, I measured the width, which was 9, and then I measured the length, which is 11 3/4, but I'm actually going to make mine 12 inches long because that will give me an extra 3/4 of an inch to work with up at the top. And I need a seam allowance, so I'm going to add an additional probably 1/4 of an inch to the top. So it will be 12 3/4. So that I'll have 3/4 for the clasp, and then, no, wait, sorry, 12 1/2, because that way I'll have, I was looking at my notes, you can see I'm writing notes. Damn it, I busted myself. Okay, so I'm writing notes as I speak. So my bag is going to be 12 1/2 long, my fabric for my bag, because that will make my bag 12 inches long. It will give me a 1/2 inch for the seam allowance up at the top, and then 3/4 of an inch for a clasp. I hope that makes sense. Then for the middle, I will basically do the same thing. So I will measure the width, and then I'll measure the length, and then I'm going to add the extra, but I have to make sure that I add it to the entire length so that I have it on both ends. So whenever I make my bag, these two pieces have to come up and be the same length as my new bag will be. So there's that. And these strips as well will need to be a little bit longer than what I actually measure. So if you're making one of these bags and you need it to be a little bit taller for a clasp, then you need to take that into consideration. Also, this fabric that this bag is made of, it doesn't fray, and so they don't have a seam allowance. If you are making a bag with something that will fray, such as the canvas, which is what I'm making my bag with, then you need to account for a seam allowance. Your bag will fray, and you're going to have to hem that top edge. So even if you're making your bag the exact same size, don't forget to add like a 1/2 inch so that you can fold it over a 1/4 and have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So those are just some notes that I wanted to say before we get into the making of the bag. Also, the other thing that I wanted to explain is I took the handles off of the bag And these handles are actually folded in half. So I'm just going to use this strip to show you. What they did to make the handle of the bag was they took a flat strip of fabric, they folded in 1/4 inch on each side like this, and then they folded it in half and sewed it closed. Right? So I understand that they did all that, and I don't need to take this apart to figure that out. So in order to get my handle measurements, what I'm going to do is measure the width of my handle, which is 1 inch. I know it needs to be twice that wide, so it'll be 2 inches, and then I know I need a 1/4 inch seam allowance, which is actually on each side. So that's an extra 1/2 inch. So I know that my fabric needs to be 2.5 inches wide to create a 1 inch wide finished handle. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, leave me a note in the comment section below. Whenever I actually make my bag, when you see the full video in just a minute, you'll see me do this as it needs to be done. So like I will cut my fabric properly, I'll fold it in, I'll stitch it, and then I'll fold it in half. I'll fold it in half, and then stitch it. So you'll see it being made properly. Okay, so I think that's all of the notes that I have for now. If I come across anything else, I will add it as well. And if you have any questions about any of the things that I changed or anything that I did to this bag, please leave it in the comment section below. Okay, let's get started. Gah! Okay, for real, just one more thing. So my straps, I like really long straps on bags, so I'm actually probably going to double the length of my strap, or maybe triple. I'm just going to kind of hold the bag up, measure where the fabric needs to be, and go from there. So my straps will actually be much, much longer. Okay, for real, let's go. Good girl, Donut. Get in your bed. Good girl. Good girl. My poor crazy damn dog. She ate extension cord. 750 euro later and surgery, she's recovering and she's fine. But she ate an extension cord. She's 11 years old. She's never chewed on anything in her life, like, ever. I don't know. She's recovering. She's great now, thanks. Okay, so the reason this bag is perfect, okay. This is the size of the bag, and I need a ruler. This is why I need to be prepared before I do a video. Like, I need to have my shit together ahead of time. Oh, God. My boobs are falling out. So professional today. Here. But it's not so much room that my books are just falling over, or the pages are getting bent or dented, or it's just getting lost in the bag. It's the perfect size bag for... Thank you, Siri, but I don't need you right now. Okay, anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna start this video over. Okay, now this is one of those oh shit. I did this so much better the first time. Fuck it, I'm leaving it.